is first the DXY. So yeah, it's been a pretty wild ride. We closed pretty strongly bearish yesterday, and as we've opened up for the new daily candle, had a bit of a gap to the downside and another strong push, and it's not even half the day yet. So the market is extremely bearish right now, taking up major lows and trading below 100, very big key psychological level for the dollar. And we're trading below it, and we've also taken up lows here back from June 2023. So the market is a bit in free fall right now. We're still trading at areas of support, so I wouldn't really be looking to try and sell the dollar unless, of course, you're a bit more intraday. You're trying to get in and out. Then, of course, you can find some opportunities. The market is pretty volatile right now, and perhaps it could drop. We could see another big drop for this one. No questions asked. But in terms of solid opportunities from a swing perspective, we do want price to find support, pullback before looking at more shorts. But we have taken out some major lows here, which does indicate more downside for the dollar in terms of price action, at least. Of course, in terms of fundamentals and what's going around in the news, that's a different situation there as well. But very strong impulsive move to the downside here for dollar. I do think naturally retracement is going to come into the market. We've had two very big bearish moves, one over there, slight pause, another bearish move here as well. So naturally, I do think the market is due a bit of a correction. We've taken out some major lows on the left as well. So again, that's another reason why I do expect price to find support eventually and see some upside. Now, dollar is still very bearish, and we're probably going to still see more downside, but pullbacks I do think are on the cards. But by no means I'm saying jump in to buy the dollar. I think that's still a bit of an aggressive position right now, taking everything into context and the lack of price action as well. Hourly chart still looking bearish there as well. So I think buys in the dollar are still pretty aggressive, but maybe in the next coming days we do start to find support and have some pullbacks. There are some nice areas up here on the daily chart which do look good for a retest if price is kind enough to get there. And that could be a really nice place for a short, a nice swing position as well, 101.5. But at the moment, just very crazy move there for the dollar. And we're looking exceptionally bearish and taking out some major lows. So I do think we're going to find support soon and have a bit of a pullback. Likewise for EURUSD as well. If I start on the weekly chart, you can see what we're doing, taking out some major highs as well. So again, euro looking exceptionally bullish. Two really big moves. This one's actually bigger than that one. That was a very big move when it happened, but this move here is even bigger, funny enough. So wow, yeah, euro's just been so bullish. Of course, dollar weakness has helped that tenfold as well, and we've taken out some major highs. I do think longer term we're probably likely to see price push right back into some major resistance on the yearly time frame. Probably going to push back to maybe 1.2. I think that could still be a while away, but I don't know, given the circumstance, how aggressive everything is. Maybe it's going to happen quicker than I'm expecting. But yeah, we're creating some new highs. I'm not interested in buying the market anymore, especially of what we've done. I do think the market's likely to find some resistance, retrace a little bit. The bigger move is probably still to the upside at this point, but I would want to see some pullbacks. If I can drop to the daily chart, at least back to some of these areas before considering looking to long. Perhaps even the retest of the high here on the left could be a nice level, but yeah, at the moment it's just in the middle of nowhere a little bit, taking out crazy highs from 2023. So the market is parabolic right now, but we need that retracement for some longs. Again, maybe intraday, there might be some nice buys to really ride that momentum, take advantage of what the market is providing right now. But the goal of on the lower time frame, trading on the lower time frame, is to be in and out. You get in, take the momentum, get out, and don't overstay your welcome. Swing trading, you're trying to capitalize on the bigger move. So we need some bigger pullbacks, and at the moment, euro is not really showing signs of that just yet. But in terms of euro, very bullish. I think the top's going to form soon. Again, news is definitely driving euro at the moment. So take that with a pinch of salt. But I do think eventually we'll see some pullbacks and hopefully some nice longs. 1.12 looks good. 1.11, 1.115 as well looks really good. So that's kind of what I'm interested in with the euro at the moment. But yeah, very, very, very bullish. Pound USD, pretty bullish as well. Not as bullish as the euro, but still a pretty decent move. I said I was looking to sell this one as we do come back into the range. Of course, with dollar absolutely melting, it was very, very difficult to get that sell. And as price got back into that consolidation, we just continued to rip to the upside. No real rejection for me to actually get into a position. We slowed down a little bit over there, but yeah, the market was just ripping, and now we've broken back to the upside of the range. So it's been a very interesting move for pound USD because we had this range, price kind of fake to the upside, now fake to the downside. Now it's breaking back to the upside again. I'm looking now for pound USD to do something like this, correct, retest the range and actually use it as support finally to potentially start the next up move. So my focus for pound is now going to be the high of the range rather than the low. And now we're looking at something like this for continuation. And perhaps we're going to see pound USD make a similar move to euro in terms of making a push back to highs we haven't been in for a while, or at least since September 2024. So looking very, very bullish there for pound USD as well. I think it's very interesting to see how this weekly candle does close, because last week's candle provided us a big wick to the upside. So basically telling us that resistance here is failing to hold. And we're likely we're going to have a move to the downside, which we did. Price respect to some areas down here and then absolutely ripped to the upside. So now with this weekly candle close, it's telling us that, okay, resistance was holding, but not anymore. And now we're going to get possibly, of course, the week hasn't finished yet, but most likely a strong close above that resistance. So that tells me that, okay, price is still very bullish. We're still probably going to push the upside. This high is likely to be taken out. And next big level would be 1.34. Which is up there. So that's kind of where I'm expecting price to head towards next for pound USD. And of course, with USD being very weak, there's a good chance we do see continuation there. So yeah, pound, two fake outs really, 1 and 2. Now looking for us to actually come back and successfully test the range, but it looks like this is just a high low, and now we're going to continue to rip. In terms of dollar CAD, this one's just falling. Really nice break and retest for this one, and it actually dropped very hard on Wednesday. Haven't looked back since. I think we're testing that big weekly level at the moment. Let's see if it actually holds the support or we continue to crack through that. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we do break through because again, looking where we have rejected, if you look to the left, massive resistance once over there, twice over there, and a third time. You know, these two moves from that level have been colossal. So, you know, who's to say we can't do a third one of those type of moves? We could very much do that. Of course, right now we're coming into support, so we'll see how price reacts with it. There could be some nice buying opportunities as we come into this level, but I will be very patient with that right now. USD looks really, really weak. So we could very much break through this. But if we do start to see some rejection, wicks forming, price slowing down, support forming, then yeah, there could be a nice buy and taking advantage of a bit of retracement. Maybe back into this low or perhaps this low. That could be a nice counter trend play. But yeah, I need to see a bit more evidence that support is holding here before jumping into any longs. But pound USD is in a big level support right now. So if the plan is anything, is to be looking to buy it. The market's already had a big move. So if you're looking to sell, kind of already want to be in the position, or if you're in the lower time frames, you want to be in and out pretty quickly because we've already had quite a big move. So the market is still a little bit stretched there. In terms of Aussie dollar, it looks like this one is reversing on the higher time frames. A very sharp recovery from last week. We had a very aggressive sell-off on Friday, and then price pretty much reversed most of that this week. You can see on the weekly candle there, big bearish candle down. Now we're recovering that pretty aggressively, back above this support level here on the left. So the way I see it, that this bearish move might have been a bit of a fake out potentially. I still need to see a bit more upside to be convinced of that, but this could still potentially be a bit of a bottom for Aussie dollar, and could be the start of potentially a bit of an up move. If USD is going to continue falling, then probably Aussie dollar is going to push up. Of course, it does depend on what Aussie dollar is going to do. We are coming back into some bearish territory right now, so I wouldn't be looking to buy the market at all. This is where we stalled last week, and then we had that crazy move down, and it looks like we're becoming a lot slower now on the 4-hour chart as well. So I do think we'll probably get a move to the downside for Aussie dollar in the next day or two. But I do think it would just be a correction for us to continue higher. I did speak on the buys for Aussie dollar yesterday. If we can come back and perhaps retest some of these areas, that would be a nice place for a long. I still think so. So price can get there, kind of lining up with this low here on the left a little bit. I think that would be a nice place for a long, and possibly trying to catch that bigger reversal, which is definitely on the cards here. But yeah, Aussie dollar coming back into supply resistance, 0.625 we'll call it. I think that could be a nice place for a sell, perhaps more so on the hourly chart. Maybe another drive to the upside, respects the high there again. That could be a nice short, potentially this afternoon or maybe early next week. And if we do pull back, then 0.61, I think that looks like a nice place for a long, and trying to catch a bit of a bounce there. But I do think slowly we might be seeing a bit of a reversal there for Aussie dollar. And the USD, same situation here as well. It does look like a reversal is happening on the higher time frames as well. If I scoot to the weekly chart, again, we had a very bearish candle last week, but that's pretty much been engulfed completely by this candle. Again, we still got 11 hours before the candle does close, but at this rate, it does look like that previous bearish candle has simply been engulfed. Support here has just been respected, and it looks like resistance here is about to break as well. With that daily candle close. So that to me looks like a massive double bottom. Essentially, this bearish move has found support, and now potentially you might be seeing a move to the upside here for ends the USD. So it was pretty bearish coming into the week, but after this rejection, after such a big bearish move on Friday, completely just erased. That to me says that momentum tried to continue us lower, but completely failed. Support held, and now looking pretty bullish again. So I do think more upside is on the cards. In terms of buying the market, that's where it gets a little bit sticky, because we are coming into resistance right now, so it's not the best time to be looking to buy, and the market is a little bit stretched as well. So it would be nice if we were to have a bit of a correction before pushing up, maybe back into this area here roughly, kind of giving us a bit of a inverse head and shoulder pattern with the left, with the head, and possibly right shoulder. That could be a nice buy potentially at some point next week. Or maybe if we see a big breakout, a break and we test at the level there, 0.58 could be something to think about as well. But in terms of direction, it does look like this one has more upside to give. The fact that all of this momentum just turned on a dime and we shot back to the upside tells a lot, and that support held very, very well. So yeah, in my book, USD likely to push higher, just waiting for corrections and continuations. In terms of gold, yeah, gold is looking absolutely insane right now. What a recovery. We had a big sell last week. Prices engulfed that and then some. We're trading above 3,200 right now. So just look like there's no stopping gold right now, to be honest. We talked about a break me test of this area. Unfortunately, just about missed that, and price flew to the upside. I think the best way to play it is just intraday pullbacks, really. Intraday pullbacks is the best way to play it. That would have been a nice retest there. Didn't quite get that. Looks like price came back to retest some consolidation here on the left. Respected that pretty well early morning. Nice push to the upside. Now it looks like we are fading at highs there a little bit, but a break of that could again be a nice opportunity for a buy. Let's say this afternoon we break through, pullbacks, a retest of that zone would be a nice place for a buy as well. Very, very consistent with the higher lows. There's just a lot of momentum in the market right now. So I wouldn't be trying to go against that for gold, to be honest. Very strong close on the daily chart as well. I think we closed above that wick, didn't we? Yeah, we did. So that resistance completely kind of eliminated there. So yeah, gold just looking very, very bullish. Next big psychological level, I would say, is 3,300. We're just blasting through each one of them. We had 3K, then we had 3,100, 3,200. Now 3,300 is the next big one. Have we spiked 3,250? No, not quite there. So 3,250 is probably something I'll look at as well. And the next big one will be 3,500, which is still quite far up. But knowing gold, we might go and do that in a flash. And then, of course, we've got silver, which is still grinding higher, but not in a convincing manner. Of course, silver had such a big sell last week, so it's got a lot more work to do than gold. Gold didn't actually sell that too much last week. Silver did. I'm kind of looking at silver more so in the higher time frame just to gauge what the market is doing from a monthly perspective. We are still in an uptrend. Support is still roughly holding there, so it still does keep my bullish bias long term. But of course, with the weekly candle we had last week, the fact that we haven't really done too much as well is making me a little bit cautious. So as I said yesterday, with silver, I am wanting to see a bit of bullish structure. So I want to see some higher highs, higher lows form. Then perhaps I can start talking about some longs, because I want structure to be my favor. At the moment, there's just so much momentum. The fact that this bullish move still seems very corrective to me. It's not like we've blasted to the upside like gold. Gold had a very sharp recovery. Silver still looks really corrective. So that kind of gives me the impression that we could still probably have a bit of a sell-off there for silver, which I'm not really interested in just yet. So I want to see more convincing bullish price action for silver before I do hop into any longs. And then, yeah, we can start speaking about some long opportunities. Because I do think silver will just follow gold, to be honest. But it's having to work a lot harder